Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Fluffy, and I'm here with my new edition called Worries&Wine. So if you're wondering what it is a talk show that I've created where I get the chance to sit and talk to some of my closest friends in my reality. And we get to talk about all the things that we don't always get to discuss, all those things that we worry about, but we're going to do it over wine. So I have my good and best friend here.
My name is Jay. I am an event planner I'm the owner at Jay's Dream Decor. I've been doing events for 3 years now, so feel free to follow me, Jay's Dream Decor on Facebook, Jay's Dream Dec on Instagram. Hello, everyone.
Yes, so please make sure you guys go ahead and check her out. And just for the sake of me, because you guys love me, please go and actually follow her. Her name will be in the description and also in the comment section as well, so you guys can take a look at her work. She is phenomenal. So coming up with this idea, we wanted to have a area where people can come and feel safe and talk about the things that we worry about. Yeah. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started with Worries and Wine, and I hope you truly enjoy this as much as we are. So to that, cheers.
Cheers
to Worries and Wine. Now, if you're wondering what kind of wine I'm actually drinking, today I have Stella Rosa, which is the pineapple flavor. This is one of my favorites. It's fairly new, but it's definitely one of my favorites. So if you guys get a chance, go check it out. It's only about $9.99, depending on where you're at. The most I've seen it at is $10.99. So aside from all of that, now that you have your wine, I'm hoping you can join in on this discussion. Make sure you fill in the comments. So me and Jay were talking the other day, and one of the things that we were talking about was insecurities in relationships.
Right.
Insecurities in relationships, they exist.
They do.
They wholeheartedly exist. And now that I'm I guess you would consider me dating, right?
Right.
And I'm going on in life, and I'm trying to, introduce myself to a person and really get to know them. And I'm finding that my insecurities play a role in how I am with this person.
Right.
And I know, Jay, that you're married.
Right. I am.
She is married.
Yeah, I've been married going on 6 years now. So I also have experienced the same things. I feel like sometimes as women, sometimes we may not feel like we worthy enough. Sometimes we may feel like we ain't good enough because we all battle with different things. So I know for me, my struggle was being a small woman, a petite woman. I'm 40 years old and I have 3 kids. So I felt like I used to never feel woman enough. Because I based it off of me being this short, little, petite woman, that I'm like, well, maybe I'm not woman enough because I'm so little. But I felt like as time went on, I had to learn, like, wait a minute, how you going to judge off your littleness off of your heart and how powerful you are and your personality? And then until my husband had to start talking to me and encouraging me. And that's what kind of, like, helped me out.
Wow. Okay, so now that you guys have been married, how do you deal with those insecurities now? Like, would you say that you still have insecurities even though you are, well into your marriage and he knows you well and you feel like this is the person that I'm supposed to be with? What about insecurities now? Because I feel like, talking to someone, I feel like I get over one insecurity with him, and then there's another one, right? And I feel so bad for Mr. Man. I feel bad for Mr. Man because I didn't want to unleash all of them. Right. Here you go. I'm gonna give them to you, so you don't just run me off like, oh, she crazy. I didn't want him to feel like that, but it's just like, I do try to communicate that I have these insecurities,
right?
Because I felt like in my older relationships, I did not acknowledge them.
That's true.
And I struggled with that, not acknowledging what made me feel insecure in certain situations. So now I feel like I need to be honest.
That's true.
About insecurity. So how do you deal with that now? Now that you've already married, you're doing what a lot of us want to do. You want to get married. So now that you are married, how do you?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
How do you deal with those?
That's a good one. Sis, I'm kind of like you. I feel like you take it little by little, because what I don't want is for my husband to look at me and be like I'm a basket case. Like as if now you have to play doctor or you got to work on me. So now there's certain stuff that I feel like, okay, I ain't gonna lie, I try to deal with some of the stuff on my own. Okay. I'll talk about certain things, like for an example, the little thing and me being, because for a lot since I've been like a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
You little. You little. So if you hear that all your life, you know, and then when you get with somebody and he like, don't never say it, and then he start encouraging me and start like, no, you're beautiful, you're fine how you are. And so that started helping me. But then after that, I started to feel like, well, maybe now I'm gonna go to maybe my complexion. You know, because now that's a big thing. Like, oh, you dark to be pretty. And I know some of us have heard that. You know,
let's talk about that. Yeah. Like, how does that become an insecurity? How does skin tone play as an insecurity in a relationship?
Because I feel like, I don't know about y'all, but as some women, we do our research. Like, first, let's see who he used to mess with. Let's see, you know, let's see what they look like. You know, let's see what they look like. You know, so.
And when you see the difference, you know, you see the difference, or you see the similarities. Some men, you will find they have a type. Like, I feel like Mr. Man has a type.
Okay. I agree.
And I looked at, like, because he openly showed me, and I'm like, I want to show you mine. It's different, you know. But he showed me his, and I'm like, oh, you have a type, you know. And I'm like,
so do you see yourself?
Yeah. And I didn't want to say that to him, but I didn't want to admit that to him. But I was just like, he totally has a specific type.
Wow.
And it was. Once I started looking at, because he showed me one night, we were just talking, and he was just showing them, like, back to back, like, oh, I used to talk to her. And I'm like, okay, cool, no problem. And I'm looking at, I'm like, oh, we all kind of look like you know, and then that's when an insecurity started kicking in with me, because I'm like, some of them I thought were prettier than me.
Really?
Yes. There was a few of them I was like.
You was like, hold up now.
I was like, wait a minute, so I ain't the prettiest one you been with? Okay, wait, you know. But you form these insecurities, you know, and for those who don't necessarily know what insecurity is, it's having a lack of confidence. That's just what it is. You know, or feeling unstable in a specific situation with a person or things of that nature. So
and another insecurity for me as well, now that we're talking about it, we're going down the list. You know. I think I had shared this with you. My husband is very, very smart, like book-wise. He remembers stuff from 2nd grade, you know. I mean, and I used to be like, I struggled in school. That's an insecurity for me. So to get with somebody that's so knowledgeable and could use big words and know definitions and can remember who created the street lights. And, you know, I mean, it's just stuff that's like, you know, like, I don't know that. But I felt like that's something that I struggle with, and I felt like it made me feel bad. And the crazy part is, I'm thinking like, why would it make me feel bad? Because he never made me feel that way. He was always willing to teach me.
Okay, so he didn't make you feel that way. So, and this is what I want to get into, is that the insecurities, no one makes you feel insecure. It comes from within.
True.
So why do we make ourselves feel that way?
I'm gonna drink to that. That's the $1 million question,
right? It's like, why do we make ourselves feel that way? Because,
so what do you think?
You know what? I think as far as insecurities play a role, I think because we're constantly comparing and contrasting. I think that's one of the biggest things that I have. Because instantaneously, I thought I was that one. Okay, but Mr. Man was showing me those pictures of his exes. And I'm, you know, and I'm like, okay, cool. You know, I know I look cute when I get put together. You know, and I started looking, I was like, wait a minute, hold on, that one was kind of pretty. Wait a minute. You know, and then I was like, okay, I can't compete with that. You know? And I think because we're constantly comparing and contrasting, and we shouldn't.
That's true.
And we shouldn't. And I think, you know, because we're always doing that. When you go to the store, you look for the best value.
That's true.
You know, so you're comparing and contrasting. If I get this one, do I get Equate versus, you know, Johnson & Johnson? You know, what's the difference? And you looking at the back, you like, it got the same ingredients.
So
you know, this one is $1 more. You know, we're comparing and contrasting. I think we typically do that with ourselves. And we shouldn't. It's detrimental.
That is so true.
I feel like it is so detrimental. And so, you know.
Yeah, that was pretty good, T. Yeah, that is true. But how do we, what should we suggest to them, or like, how do we where do we start the healing process? You
know what, I agree wholeheartedly with you on that, is that we have to, I think first off, what we have to do is acknowledge that we do it.
That's true.
A lot of times we don't know that our insecurities are started by ourselves, so we don't typically realize that this is something we're doing. This is something that we're doing. So if it's something that we're doing, how do we fix it? And I think once you recognize that you're doing that behavior, you have to kind of say, okay, what am I going to do to change my thought? Because it's a thought process that takes place. And we need to be able to reframe our thought. So if we reframe our thought around it, then...
That is pretty good. Wow. That was a good point. Yeah, definitely.
What do you think about that?
I definitely think that you definitely got to acknowledge. Because you got to acknowledge that's what's wrong. And I think, too, we kind of like should dig deep within. And know that nobody is perfect. And you do sometimes, that I don't seen, what was that? I seen like I watch a lot of motivational things, like motivational speakers and self-esteem videos. I think that all that saying, stand in the mirror, talk to yourself. To me, I think that that's like really, really important. Like I am good enough. I do love my hair. I do love my skin complexion. Yes. So I do feel like it starts with self, and you got to start from somewhere. I mean, that's just what I think far as that. I mean, it's still a lot because it's so, when you dig deep, it's a lot of insecurities there. And we just basically pulling them. Right. pulling them out there. Yes, like as soon as you figure out one, you're like, okay, wait, here comes another one. Right. So, No,
I totally agree. A friend of mine a long time ago who was a counselor taught me to do this exercise. And it literally was to stand in front of a mirror naked. And what you do is you start from the top all the way to the bottom. And what happens is if you find an area that you try to skip through too fast or an area that you stop at, that's where you stop at. And then you say, okay, I'm going to put my clothes back on and I'm going to analyze what part of me I didn't like. What did I see that I didn't like? And analyze it. And then until you become comfortable, you keep looking at yourself in the mirror every day until you figure out, how do I get past this? And so you start to learn to love yourself until you say, when I look at my body, especially those who deal with like body dysmorphia, because I know some people, so I suffer from body dysmorphia where I tell Mr. Man all the time, like, I can't stand my body. Really? Because I can see what I did to it. And that's a big insecurity for me in a relationship, especially when I look at his other girls, I'm like, dang, she body, booty, this, and then I'm just like, why do you like me? Because I'm not built like that. I'm not, and so body dysmorphia is real, and I'm here to say that it is real. But how do you get over it? And that's practicing those exercises, and also just being with somebody who understands and can help you reaffirm and give you those positive thoughts that you're looking to hear. Because it doesn't help if you're with somebody that's like, yeah, you are fat. You're like, okay, I get it. But I need you to say it like that. But help me coax into eating right and doing what you need to do to get the body that you essentially want, or whatever the case may be. So it does have a lot to do with your partner as well, because the insecurities come from within, but how you handle them and who you handle them with. Right. Say it, sis. That's true. That right there makes all the difference. That is true. That makes all the difference. That is so true. Oh my God. Wow. That is so true. Insecurities exist within relationships, and most of the time we are the author behind the insecurity. So I'm gonna go a step further. We talking about us ladies, but what about our men? That's insecurity. Would they feel a little funny to feel vulnerable enough to talk about it? You know what? I find that most men have a hard time admitting what they struggle with, admitting what makes them insecure. Because I've had to like drag it out of Mr. Man to be like, what's wrong? And he eventually tells me, and it's not something that they have to admit, but I think it's because our society has made men feel like they need to be strong. And there's nothing wrong with having a vulnerable or weak moment, because you're supposed to have that. Exactly. You have all these emotions, and I don't know if everybody believes in God, but I feel that God gave me every emotion, and I'm supposed to go through every single one of them. I agree. And it's unfortunate that we've placed this mentality with our men, especially if you date a black man. That's true. They have so many strikes already against them, and it's like, to be vulnerable and be in my feelings and be sensitive, they don't have room for that. Or they feel that they don't have room for that. There's room for it, but they feel like, I don't have the capacity for it. That's you know, because I have so many things to do. I got to take care of the family. I got to make the money. I got to pay the bills.
Right. Yeah, I got to be the protector.
Yes. That's true. And it's unfortunate, but I do hope that the black men that are watching, if you are in a relationship,
definitely,
your woman should be able to cater to that insecurity as well as you are able to cater to hers.
That is so true. Yes, I agree with that. Because I know for me, my husband, we talk about everything. I feel like it ain't just about me. You know, I ain't the only one with insecurities. If it's something that you're battling with, let me know so I can also help you through that.
Oh.
So, you know.
See, that's what I love to hear.
Yeah.
You know what? Hashtag to the black love. Okay? Hashtag to the black love. Because you know, they need to hear that. And I feel like there's a lack of, you know, of hearing that and having that person that is going to be there for you in those vulnerable moments.
That's true.
It's needed.
It is.
It's definitely needed.
It is.
So with that being said, insecurities.
Yeah,
we talked about a lot of them at a time, right? Like we really like thank you for that.
Yeah,
you know, definitely. I mean, it's definitely something to think about. But those are, you know, some of the things that I've come across, and each situation is always different. That is so true. You know, how you handle it is always different.
It is always, and every individual is different. And then don't never feel alone. We all going through the same things,
or have been through
the same things, and where we can relate. It's nothing like having a mom, a auntie, or a best friend that you can sit and talk about and have these type of conversations. Because guess what? Everybody can't afford therapy.
Everybody cannot afford therapy.
And to me, this is good therapy for her and I to be able to talk about and vent and get each other perspective. So, yeah,
I feel like it opens the doors to, and I mean, you have to be open. You have to be optimistic about it. That's because true. You have to understand not every situation you can handle the same, you know.
That's true.
Because if you could handle every situation the same, you would never evolve as a person.
That is so
and
true.
I feel for us to continue evolving with positive energies, you have to surround yourself by people who understand insecurities, who understand you as a person.
I agree.
And, you know, it just helps you so much. So I am grateful that I have a core, you know, people that I'm able to do that with. And if you don't, guess what? You guys have us here now, definitely. Worries and Wine. So we are here. So definitely, and with that being said, we're going to actually wrap this up. We didn't want to talk too much about it, but just kind of, you know, put some things out there. And if you guys have any topics that you would love to hear us discuss, please put them in the comments below. Please tell us about your insecurities. I will be writing back and responding to comments as they come in. And I hope to see you guys soon.
Yes, nice.
And it's okay to have your wine. Right, and it's okay to have your worries.
That's right.
You got worries and wine. All right, y'all. We out of here.
We out of here.
Period.